Inclusion should provide all children, no matter what class or ethnic group they belong to. Should provide them with an equal ability to access the curriculum.
Inclusion basically is making sure that everyone, every child, even every adult belongs, have the sense of belonging and being part and taking active role.
Inclusion, to me, means a child will achieve more from inclusion than exclusion. So, having them included and in all sort of ways, sports-wise, educational-wise, just include them in everything.
It's about getting children to want to be in school and keeping them in school and hoping that they're motivated enough to learn and do well.
Hackney Wick in East London is home to a highly transient and mixed community of families, many of whom send their children to Gainsborough Community Primary School, situated in the heart of a large housing estate. 90% of the children here are of ethnic minority heritage, including Afro-Caribbean, African and Eastern European. And around a third of all pupils have English as an additional language. Add to that the social deprivation prevalent in the area, and you are faced with quite a tough inclusion challenge.
As a team here at Gainsborough, I think we work incredibly hard to facilitate the community, and we actually have a team that is very talented and very committed to inclusive education for our children.
Our learning mentors are very important. Because they don't work in the classrooms all the time, they can take pupils out of classes. It's very helpful because they can fulfil a different role with the children and they can offer a different sort of support.
The role of the learning mentor at Gainsborough is to help to break down any barriers there may be to learning, to be a professional friend to pupils, to support staff within the school, and to liaise with outside agencies.
End of the day, we are not teachers, we are not classroom assistants, and we are certainly not a disciplinarian. Right? So the children can then come to us and have a good old chat with us and tell us what's really bugging them, that we can go back and really relate to the teachers, because they see the teachers as really the hierarchy, so to speak. Like I said, they come to us as friend. They come to me or Carol, and we sit them down, and then they come in a quiet zone, which is a yellow room, and do their nice piece of work. For instance, if a child is had a bad day, bad vibes at home and stuff like that, they come and talk to us, and we just go through the little step by step.
Inclusion at Gainsborough not only includes the pupils, but also the parents and the communities that the children belong to. And it empowers not only the children to affect their learning, but it also empowers the parents and the community.
As part of their efforts to extend inclusion to the wider community, Carol and Homeschool Liaison Officer Sarah Harris have started the Family Support Group, a weekly informal drop-in session for parents and carers. They're hoping to raise a support group's profile with a stall at this afternoon's Summer Fete.
The Fete provided us with an opportunity to publicise the Family Support Group, and it did very well in doing so.
We meet over there in the medical room, and if you want to drop in after you've taken your children to school.
It's a way for us to open the doors to the community, to provide the community with the space to come together, to meet other parents, to meet staff, but in a very informal way. When people talk about inclusion, I think people would see it more as, part of the behaviour management, keeping children in school that might have learning difficulties, physical disabilities, but there are subtle inclusion that takes place. And I think when you take a whole school approach to inclusion, it's the subtle things that really have the most impact, the greater impact. And those things are things like the fruit Tuckshop, the social skills groups, the drama groups that help children to realise that talent doesn't just appear in the classroom. All those things are part of what inclusion is about. Our fruit Tuckshop started out as part of Healthy Schools Initiative, and we wanted to get across to parents the importance of having fruit and a healthy diet in general. I think it's very effective in terms of inclusion. We sell the food during playtime, break times, and it's helped the children socially, and it's also helped to stop a lot of playground incidents because the focus is on buying the fruit, eating the fruit, sharing the fruit, talking, as opposed to having fights and bickering.
If they're not properly fed, then that can really and truly cause a child to come into school miserable. And then that's a great big barrier for a child, miserable, not fed, not eating properly, and they don't have a breakfast, then they're going to come in school and be very miserable and not going to access the work properly. I play the cricket because lots of the boys love to play cricket, and they enjoy playing cricket. They come to me and say, "Oh, Allan, can I play cricket?" Monday to Friday is cricket. So that's what they like, so that's why I play with them. And I enjoy it. I do provide them with male role models. Lots of those boys, they're single parent family, and it's only mothers only. And they rarely get to see dad or an uncle, whatever it is. So they see me as their little, probably dad. Really relate to me properly in a way. We chat about everything.
I've been running a social skills group at Gainsborough now for a term in order to help children that have emotional difficulties or that are lacking in social skills. But not just those children, but also children that are quite skilled in those areas, that they can then support children that are in the group that perhaps aren't as skilled. By the way that the children are able to integrate with each other within the groups, you get a sense that it is definitely working, and it's definitely something that should continue. Something I want to do, I want to focus on friendship. When I am unhappy, my friend cheers me up.
When I'm unhappy, my friend makes me laugh. When I'm unhappy, my friend says jokes.
Circle time. Circle time is wonderful. It's a wonderful way of getting to know your children. I might be doing circle time on bullying. And there's one child probably in the whole class has been bullying because they know that I come to with a problem. I said, "Oh, well, I've been bullied." I do a circle time with the whole class, and then I'll give her like a sentence. What would I do if I'm being bullied? And you get the whole classroom perspective on bullying, and then you can pick out the ones that really and truly is the bully. Then it's a one-to-one. Call for a one-to-one. And you get a one-to-one discussion with that one person, then you chat about it, and hopefully it'll go away.
The drama group that I run here works particularly well because it gives children a platform to use their voice, to gain confidence, to help to raise their self-esteem, as well as to integrate. And also it helps that if a child doesn't feel as confident in the classroom, it gives them some kind of space where they can feel that they can excel and they can present themselves and show who they are and what they're about. So it's like giving them a voice. I've worked with children who don't have English as a first language within the drama group, and they're still given some kind of a role, and it does raise their confidence.
Go, you get up.
children not having English as their first language again makes it difficult, and it also changes the nature of the classes. Sometimes just one or two extra children can alter the dynamics in a classroom immensely, and that has a big impact on the learning.
Right, good morning everybody.
Good morning.
Henry's our EMAG coordinator, and he works with our children who have English as a second language. The importance of having somebody working as an EMAG teacher is to make sure that we can assess the children that come into us, and that's something that Henry is good at doing.
We have well over 150 children who have English as a second language. My duty is to make sure that every child who comes from the ethnic minority group, especially those who have a second language, that they fit into the English system, and making sure that they're able to access the English curriculum.
It smells lovely.
It smells lovely, good, yes. I think it's very important because we want children from the beginning to experience success, yeah? And to be able to belong, to be part of the society. If this is not done, then they'll be alienated, you know, and you know the impact of that. If they don't feel belong, they will be disadvantaged, and you know, it can cause a lot of problems in the future as well. Part of the policy is to make sure that every child counts, every child experiences success in the school. They feel part of the classroom system and all that. So that's part of the inclusion procedure in the school, strategy in the school.
Whether it's the school excluding children for bad behaviour or the child that is excluding him or herself, Gainsborough's policy is, as far as possible, to work with the individual. The LEA has commented in the past that Gainsborough goes to extreme lengths to keep children that would otherwise be excluded, and this can be seen in the one-to-one sessions that take place with certain pupils.
We do try very hard to avoid exclusion where possible, because we don't feel that it's the answer to anything. It doesn't really achieve a great deal.
Instead of excluding that child from school, let him come to school even for an hour or two, just to let him have a feel of school and the old settings. Even though he's doing one-to-one, it's a matter of breaking him gently into the school system instead of kicking him out. What they're going to do when they go on the street? What they're going to do at home? Will they be learning anything at home? I don't think so. I don't like the word exclusion. I don't like you excluding a child from school. Hey, it's not working. Exclusion is not working. Inclusion is the thing. Including them, I think including a child in the school, in education, get them in school even for 15, 20 minutes per day, I think is worthwhile having them in school, including them in the whole package.
Personally, I feel that a lot more money has to be spent in looking at inclusion, looking at specialist help for individuals, and even taking the environment into account. I think what works best in having an inclusive approach to education is when the whole community come together and the whole community are understanding of what the objectives are. And that is also the biggest challenge.